Insights with Terri Coots, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Coots. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Thank you for joining me for the week of September the 17th through the 24th, 2023. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. I'm playing Russian roulette here. I have every dog that I have on the place right now in with me in the office. The office isn't huge, but wherever I put them at this moment, they're going to give me grief. I know it, and I need them to be quiet during this podcast, at least to a certain degree. And I'm just trying. I've got them locked in with me. I'm hoping nobody knocks on the door or nothing occurs, but you know what? We'll see what happens, and we'll deal with it as it occurs. And that's kind of what last week was all about. Stuff happening and not being in your planner, not being prepared for it, not expecting it, having totally different plans, and guess what? It occurs. And then our job was to try to handle it with flexibility. Now, if you really take a look at it from a distance, in the end, as difficult as some of the situations were, you know what? It came out okay. You can't complain too much. But it was hard to handle for most of us. Remember, this is general. This isn't directed at each person. But for most of us, in the end, if we take a step back, it was manageable. So that's still what we're working in, probably for this week as well, coming up. Maybe not to the degree that it was. When Mercury's retrograde and then it goes direct, it's it's a hit, especially if you've done your astrological chart and you do have any Mercury in there. So Mercury is ruled by Virgo. It's a ruling planet of Virgo, and it is a planet. So when that takes a shift from retrograde to direct, anybody with Mercurial, which is Gemini, Virgo energy, it can really be challenging. I have to say the 15th of last week, I thought it was going to kill me. But when I took a step back, at the very end of the day, everything worked out. Everything worked out, actually probably better than I could have worked it out. But boy, oh boy, getting there. That was a challenge. So that's kind of a little bit of what we're going to go through this week as well. Now, when you look at the dogs, not like dogs sit in front of their planner, or your animals, your cats, your horses, your goats, your pigs, your chickens, and decide this is how it's going to work. But many of our domestic animals, and a lot of the feral ones as well, have a routine. They'll show up here for lunch, here for breakfast. At 10 o'clock, they're over here. The hawks that are killing my ducks, I know I see the routine. If I can be out there with my dogs between 6:30 in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, my dogs can deter the carnage. And so they have to be flexible to say, well, that stupid woman is out there with her stupid dog, so I can't eat her stupid ducks. So then they might adjust. So then I think, okay, coast is clear. I'm going to go and have a coffee at 8 o'clock, and they show up at 8:15, and voila, there goes Leroy. My duck's gone. So they have to be flexible too. It might not be what they'd prefer, but to get their duck meal. And then I have to be flexible and say, everything has to eat. I just wish you didn't take Leroy. So we're having to adjust. And so I've been trying to work with my animals, trying to get them not off routine, but able to be flexible with their routine, not eat right at 4 o'clock. You can do 3:30 or you can do 5. I usually take you for a walk at such and such a time. Maybe we'll play ball instead of going for a walk. Just trying to help them be friends with flexibility, as well as I'm helping myself try to be friends with flexibility. Because in the end, it works out okay if we just let it. And on that Friday, the 15th, we're still feeling the effects, was a new moon. And that new moon, when the planet Mercury went from retrograde to direct on that day, as well as the new moon, really offered a significant shift in energy to allow us to try to garner in new ways of approaching things, new ways of understanding things, new ways of working with things. I have to say, I did notice it in a couple of the dogs. I was working them kind of in the way that we normally do our work, and I saw them defer a little bit and deke a little way. And I looked at that and I thought, that's not a bad way of doing it. I'm gonna revisit this, because it was a little different and it worked out pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. So we got to keep our eyes open, our ears open, our ability to be aware and awake. And when something's offered to us, if we're awake and we're attentive, we'll see the messages that they're giving to us from all around us. Now, we still have Virgo in the sun sign, and I've been discussing that. And Virgo is still in Mercury, which is how we think and how we communicate, but it's going direct now as of last Friday, the 15th. So that'll be a relief for some of us. Whew, that was quite a month. And then Venus, the planet of love, beauty, attraction, that is still in Leo. Nothing has really changed there. It's been there for quite a while. And you can go back to past podcasts. Charlie O'Brien has put it up on the website www.terriworld.com and has kindly archived 4 or 5 of them. If you missed them, you had something better to do, they're up there. But if you just want to refresh your memory, they're up there. And then Mars, the planet of our drive, our passion, that is still as well in Libra, and that's been there for a little bit. Now, the interesting thing for me is that Libra, the zodiac sign of balance, it pairs beautifully with the numerology number that we got this week, pairing with the astrological zodiac signs. 6. 6 is the number. And 6 and Libra are choices. Libra having a difficulty making choices because they want to get, everybody happy. Everybody's got to be happy. We can't have somebody that's not happy. So it's very difficult to make a choice. And number 6 understands the need for choices and absolutely sees the necessity for making the right decision in the face of maybe some emerging opportunities, which some of us may have. Now, what I'm finding keenly interesting is that number 6 in the tarot deck is the card of the Lovers, which is romantic relationships, of course, family. We love our family, our home, the foundations for emotional and relationship success. Now, what I found interesting as well with that is that when I pulled the tarot deck, all the cards are lovey cards. So, and romantic cards. One of the cards that came up is the 2 of Hearts, which is romance. So I'm thinking, wow, somebody out there knows what they're doing. Wow. So they're pairing up beautifully. I'm going to go to the tarot cards in a minute. I'm just really amazed that I shouldn't be. I've been doing this for 70 years, but I can't help it. I can't help it. It just gobsmacks me. So the number 6 is romantic relationships, family, home, the foundations for relationship success, for family success, for really wanting to help others and actually helping others. I've seen many occasions when my husband, when he was alive, he would say, "Don't help me," because every time I tried to help, it really got bad. I really was a disaster in some of the situations that we were in. So when I laugh at helping others, it means real help, not the kind of help that I used to give sometimes with some of the equipment. So number 6 wants a partner who meets our expectations. Number 6 longs for harmony, for the harmonization of relationships. It wants the opportunity to be successful in love life, in marriage, in work relationships, in casual relationships. However, when you pair that with Libra, it's going to be necessary to find, I'm going to say, willingness in others, ourselves maybe included, to make compromises. So this number 6 often has a talent for business and a success oriented energy for pairing, for partnerships, and a really good sense of aesthetics and art, because Libra loves beauty, loves good things. We should really start looking at taking good care of our health. Coming through that Virgo energy, still being in the Virgo energy, it is very, very health oriented. And the messages that I'm seeing for many of the people that I'm doing readings for revolve around, look at your health, do something about your health. So for many of you, the tweaking of looking at your health is going to come up, and wanting to have good health and being able to maybe see some of the signs or some of the symptoms or some of the messages that we're getting about our health. So this is a really, really great opportunity to really look at your body. It's the only one you got. You might as well be good to it. So it's a real nice energy that pairs nicely. The weakness would be hesitation, could be restlessness, could be intolerance instead of compromise. And really beware of the excessive desire for perfection, because that can cause irritability. So we have to really be on top of that. Now, I can't do a huge reading, and remembering that it's very general for everybody. But the cards that came up, as I said, was the Two of Hearts. That's the card of romance. So they want us to really enjoy each other in the next couple of weeks. Really get in there and enjoy family, friends. Tweak your romance if you're in with somebody. Do something really romantic. If you're not in with somebody, look around. There might be a new opportunity. And then the Sun came up, and the Sun is a very positive card, and that's one of warmth in relationships. Gosh, somebody does really know what they're doing, don't they? So it's offering, when the Sun comes up, you can feel the heat, you can feel the warmth of it, and that's what they're trying to offer us, that warmth that you feel when that sun rises. Success, fulfillment. The Sun is the giver and the sustainer of life. When the Sun comes out for me, I feel vital. I feel real small in the winter time. It's cold and I just want to kind of curl up in a ball. But when the Sun comes out, you just want to expand. So that vitality is visceral for me. It's pleasurable. So that's an energy field that's being offered to us this week. Some of you, I'm not sure who you are because it's so general, will be given good information this week. And when I say good news kind of information, so somebody's out there are going to be given information that they're going to say, yes, 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 I was waiting to hear that. A lot of the cards that came up are soul. They're soul oriented. That's our whole life, right? Plus then some. And so a lot of the issues or situations that you'll be dealing with this week will be around soul issues. Those are big issues. Many of us will find success in what we're doing, but, always the but, right? It'll be delayed. So sometimes we can think that we're losing, but we're not. It's just delayed success. We're going to be successful. It's just not going to be on our time schedule. So I can't even think of an example of what that would be, but I think you will. And they're going to try to encourage in us self-discipline, where we can try to balance things, ask for help of the universe, of our guides for balance, and also try ourselves. Am I in balance with myself? And if I'm not, what's out of balance and how do I help that? And kidneys are going to be a real big thing that we have to keep an eye on. So the beginning of the week, we have to look at some of the eliminating organs, which would be kidneys, liver. If you are vulnerable in those areas, keep an eye on it. Sometimes some of the symptoms of a liver that isn't happy or kidneys that aren't happy is the toxin that courses through our body, unknown to us, making our skin very itchy. You know, one of those itches that you can't scratch? You scratch it, but it isn't satisfying. That's what that symptom is. So some of you may have some issues with that. Watch your hips. As these planets change, we could be more prone to having some joint ill. It just hurts to be alive. So watch the hips mainly. That's one of the bigger parts. Then towards the end of the week, it's going to be knees. So it's going to go from the hips to the knees. So those are vulnerable. If you don't have problems in that, just ignore me. It's not your vulnerable area. But if it is, and it could come up to be your vulnerable area, that's what you're going to be working in. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I ran through it really quickly, trying to keep this as tight as I could and not drone on. Thanking Charlie O'Brien for putting us on Spotify podcasts, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube. He will give me the link at the time that he can, and when he gives me the the YouTube link, I will post that on Facebook. And he's got the website up, www.terriworld.com, and Charlie O'Brien has put up the last 4 or 5 and archived them in case you missed any. Who knows? Sometimes we get busy. If you need a reading for yourself, a personal reading for yourself, don't hesitate to text or call 519-726-6699, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. And we're starting a new set of classes for the dogs, obedience and agility, which is just getting a hold of your dog, wearing some energy off and making them well behaved at the same time. Woo! Who doesn't like that? That's going to start on Tuesday the 19th. Beginners start at 6 o'clock. It runs for 5 sessions, 5 consecutive Tuesdays. If you miss one, you can roll it over into the next session. So give me a shout if you are interested in any of that. Pre-registration is required, and we still have a couple more spots available. And just enjoy the fall with me. Alrighty, thanks again for your time and your ears, and we will hopefully talk next week. We'll find out what's going on for next week. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.